Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 343, New Year's Eve edition with myself, Marco Bergio, Mark Novak. Tonight's a big night, probably not a normal New Year's Eve for everybody. Party limits, I think, went from 10 to 5 with the extra COVID cases. It's going to be quite an intimate New Year's Eve for a lot of people. Let's just say that. Which could be a good thing.
Yeah, sounds boring. Sounds boring. I think, it's definitely for us that we got blown up with our plans. So it's let's not even try it. Let's just stay home and love the one you're with.
Yeah, I think I'll be feeling pretty fresh tomorrow for the first New Year's Day in a very long time. Maybe.
I didn't think of that. It could explode. Yeah, the New Year's Day could be probably one of the busiest days out there. I noticed RBTs out there this morning, guys, in a couple of locations. So just be careful because I think everyone's expected to have today off in some businesses and had a bit of a big night the night before.
Well, the best parties are the ones that are not planned or expected, and I don't think anyone's expecting much for tonight. So we're watching the fireworks from home. But let's get into it. The start of every new year, everybody sits around and thinks of their goals for the following year. I want to achieve this. I want to buy a property. I want to lose weight. I want to go on a holiday. I want a new job. Yes. All these wants. The big list starts out, and I thought we should talk about, especially when it comes to property, where to start from. So if you haven't bought a property before, you're not in the industry, and you don't watch the show, so you know nothing about it, is what's some key things to do. I know in Light, I was having a conversation with a buddy who was talking about buying a property, and it was a little frustrating because it would be like saying you want to lose weight, but you don't know anything about what food to eat or what exercise, and you're losing weight by eating Maccas and not training. It was just like, well, you can start off as a heavier person, but you need to know which path to go down and then put your head down. And I think property is a lot like that, Mark, and you would have seen it over the years where people have that want. They may even have the money. They just don't know where to start, and then they can stumble over themselves getting into it. So what are some key things for a fresh first home buyer with the savings and without the savings to get started in buying a property?
I reckon for your New Year's resolution coming in with property, the key thing is to collect is probably attitude, right? So I think if you've got the attitude for New Year's resolution not to share your New Year's resolution, I reckon you're behind the 8 ball. If you've got the attitude to share your New Year's resolution with the people you love, your friends, your family, they are going to offer you advice, and they are going to, some of it you won't like, and they are going to check in on you, and they are going to help you. So I think 101 for people that want to do their upgrade, I downgrade, get little Johnny, your son, to buy a property. I think it would be absolutely critical to share that, believe it or not, but above all would be to share that with the people around you.
Accountability is a big one. Hey, I know a lot of people do it with health and weight loss. They start groups, they've got friends, they've got that accountability buddy that's always checking, going, well, you didn't go to the gym today, where were you? Keeps you top of mind, because especially with long-term goals, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, could be a couple of years, it's hard to stay on that path and just sort of walk that straight line. So with property, that's a big one, like especially if you don't have the savings, because you're doing two things at once, saving for the money, but also you got to educate yourself. And I don't think a lot of people do that enough. Educate themselves with having that. So you have that savings goal. Okay, if you can save 50 grand, what can you buy with 50 grand? What does the income need to be? What price point? And then what can you buy? Is it a unit, house, townhouse? where to buy, where are the good areas of a suburb. As we know, Mark, in DY, there's two markets, DY. East of Pittwater Road, west of Pittwater Road, and then you got the micro market of Richmond Ave compared to DY Ave. Like, you've just got to do that research and get in there to any suburb to know where the benefits are, and then the lending criteria, the amount of times where people go into purchasing blindly with not really knowing how much money they need. They may have done a finance calculator on Google. They've spoken to a friend of a friend who's a so-called a broker, and they're just going in with not all this information. And a lot of the time, it just wastes their time, doesn't it, Mark? Like, they could have reached their goal a lot sooner than they do.
Heaps sooner. You know what? It's like walking the plank, and this is New Year's Eve, right? It's like walking the plank, and when you are walking the plank, there is nothing underneath you. You are exposed to anyone who's looking up at the plank, and it is a bit of a show of display. Walking the plank, or or going out on the jumping, that jumping board, on a pool, they call it.
Yes.
Not
a sponge.
Springboard.
Springboard.
The springboard, yeah. So I think for New Year's Eve, guys and girls, anyone who's watching, I think with your dreams and your goals, and to make them reality, I think sharing that with the people around you, you got to do it. You just got to do it. So, and particularly if it's property related, I think people are scared of failure, so they don't want to actually.
Yes.
They're worried that they do tell everyone and they don't achieve it. Well, guess what? If you don't achieve it the next year, you will. So, or the year after. But you will spend that year talking about it, prepping for it, and people around you will share that conversation and their knowledge, what they've done with you. So getting into property is probably the easiest that we've seen in a very, very, very long time on the back of interest rates. And Michael, I've been saying this the whole year. If you don't like the property, if you don't want to live in the property, people keep wanting to live in their first home. So it's like, you know what? I had a friend say it to me last night, and she said, "I've got this amount of money, and I'm just going to have to buy on the Central Coast." I'm like, well, you love where you're renting. I love where I'm renting. It's a good deal where you're renting. It's a cracker deal. Love it. I'm like, well, why are you doing that to yourself? Why don't you just buy something, a unit, maybe even 2 units, with the money that you got, and just rent it out? And she was like, nah. So guys, if you're going to be getting it, if it's New Year's resolution, even setting that goal too high, Burge, like I think having that goal too high and just not achieving it at all for 2 or 3 years while the market's running. Everyone's talking about double-digit growth in 2021. Everyone's talking about double-digit growth, and what that means is for 500,000, if the market's going to go up 10 or 20%, you're going to miss out on 50 to 100 grand. I was saying to her last night, just get in. Make that 50 or 100 grand, and in a couple of years, work it out, sell it, buy something else bigger, buy the dream, whatever.
Yeah, exactly right. And even if you're setting the smaller goals, so instead of setting a goal for the end of next year, set it so you got a check mark in 3 months, in 6 months. It's widely proven having the smaller goals and achieving them along the way gives you a much greater success rather than setting a really far away goal. So especially like weight loss, you may have a goal to lose 20 kilos, but don't check in until you get to 20. Check in when you've lost 5. Check in when you've lost 10. Check in when you've lost 15. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Mark.
Every day, yeah.
Yeah. It's like someone who quits smoking and then they get back to smoking. Like, you never quit quitting. Just like you never stop setting that goal, because once it does take time to hit it. There's not many people out there that have successfully reached their health goal in the first time. They go, what they're saying, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, then 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Same with property. You're saving money, but then the property price of what you want may go up, and you go, oh shit, now what do? Save more money, some emergency comes up, your savings go down. So it's key to not get caught up in buying that dream property, because it makes it harder to actually achieve that with fluctuations of the market, where if you've saved, you can buy for 500 grand, buy for someone. We are seeing that shift for people with that mindset going, I live in it for 6 months and then I'll rent where I want to live because I just want to get in the market. If the market goes up 10%, that's potentially an extra 30% you need to save to try and catch it. And you may not be able to catch it. So it's being realistic, having those conversations with people who have done what you want to do. Can't stress that enough. If you want to buy a property, speak to someone who's bought property. If you want to lose weight, speak to someone who's lost weight. If you want to save money, don't speak to the person who smokes, drinks, and gambles and has no money. Common sense shit, but it's so true.
It is. And Jeff Luby, g'day and good morning to you. Happy New Year, legend. Everyone out there, Happy New Year. What we're talking about this morning is making a pledge for New Year's and telling the people around you, hey, guess what, Michael? It can start here.
Yeah.
It can start here. So, guys, if, direct message us, put a message on the board here, pledge what your New Year's resolution is, and I swear, it will help you get what you want if you make it public to friends, family, or public for your New Year's resolution. What's your New Year's resolution?
I was just about to say it. So mine will be, I've had a very up and down year with weight. After probably losing 20 kilos, put on 15. So I want to lose that 15 kilos again. The biggest thing for me would be the difference of training. I'm used to doing it when I go hard, but still from spinal surgery, I can't. So my next goal then, which I've never really cared about, is diet.
Next goal.
My next goal. So there'll be the weight loss, but diet specifically, which I'd rather do an extra 2-hour workout in a day and just eat shit. So that's a whole flawed mentality because I crumbled when I could not train, and that's what happened this year after spinal surgery. So that's going to be a very tough one, but that's going to be a key.
Had a big year, bud. You've had a big year. For someone your age to have spinal surgery, that's your third spinal surgery.
Fourth, but who's counting? So weight, diet. I want to definitely get into jiu-jitsu professionally. I've done a lot of MMA, but jiu-jitsu. So they're probably my key ones that I can work on every day and it'd be very consistent. And then you've got your other stuff, potentially a second property, but that'll be based on work goals and depending where the market sort of goes with commercial. So I think for me, there's a lot of stuff outside of work I want to master. You, Mark?
I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
I want to lose some kgs. So I sort of busted the 110 kgs this year. Haven't been there for probably 8 years.
Yeah.
So getting down to probably the 100, 103 kgs would be bloody great for New Year's resolution. Again, guys, we're talking about New Year's resolutions. You've got to tell people around you to make it happen. That's mine. And also, I'm looking forward to some stability in such a turbulent year. What can I do about that? Probably not. And then probably to be content.
Yeah.
May sound a little bit silly, but I think just for this year to just to smell the roses a little bit and just be a little bit content within health and family and stuff like that, because and a little bit with business, because it just feels like it's just this relentless push of not happy, push, not happy, push, not happy, push, and it's like, no, let's just be happy and push.
Yep.
But yeah,
I definitely relate to that.
Two things.
And I think the big thing why a lot of mine will be the health and the diet and then that, because this year's the toughest thing about this year, and it's something Lee Woodward said, is like the worst thing for a sales agent is for whatever reason, if figures are down, then your happiness or well-being outside of it should not be based on your figures. So I know after this year sucked for many reasons personally and in that sort of commercial market, but to see how it affects training, diet, everything there. So definitely need to build up that, and work will come. You keep doing the basics, it comes. But what you sort of said, not being content, but not letting it affect every part of your life. So it's a big one. So I think that's a big one for this year.
And I think that's why our government spent a lot of time and money on mental health through COVID, because it does splay shit through your whole life. When, if you're in travel or hospitality or something, it would have been pretty hard this year to stay positive while you're at work. You know what I mean? Because the walls are crumbling around you. So, 2021, I think is, And you know what? I think we would be kidding ourselves if we thought that the switch is going to turn off for COVID in 2021. Switch is still,
We spoke about this yesterday. A lot of people just think, and the reason I think I may add on to that, the diet, was what you just said, that sort of mental health. Because when you sort of said having shit time at work with like the tourism, people can relate. How many people have a shit day at work and then they have a shit home experience? And that all ties in with the mental health. That all ties into what the big government push is, because a lot of the time, if work can be a good escape for people, but it also can be their happiness or their torture, depending on where it goes. And a lot of the time, if work causes the shit, for simple terms, then that can affect I know for me, if figures aren't there, then it affects diet, then diet affects training, and then training affects everything else in that roll-on.
Relationships,
everything. So that mental health, I think, is a big one. I think it will be for everyone. But you hit the nail on the head. We spoke about it. I don't believe COVID's going to stop next year. So let's get through to next year. Let's get through to next year.
But that's everyone's New Year's resolution, I think. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, fuck it, it's a brand new year. It's going to go. You know what? I think we're learning, and we will learn, and we have learned that we just have to take COVID-19 in our stride in 2021, and we're certainly better at doing that.
Yeah, and like what you said on a previous show, like you had COVID 1, COVID 2, C2. Next year we'll have C3, C4, C5. So be prepared and set your goals accordingly, because the reason I bring it up, not to be that Debbie Downer, people will set their goals thinking there will be no COVID next year, and it makes your goals so much harder to get, especially if it comes to training.
You're right. You're right. You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
If you have saving goals you need to achieve and your work is affected by COVID, then you got to rearrange your goals. Think about training goals. How many people want to get into the gym? January 1, the gyms in Northern Beaches are closed. So I think we've got to look for people who just buried their head in the sand March and go, I can do nothing for 3 months. People either lost weight or gained weight. It wasn't a consistent plan, but I think people may need to look again at that indoor gym or that indoor gym equipment, or change to a gym that has outdoor area, or maybe change it in the line of work that is a bit more COVID resistant. So I think for people who think everything's going to be perfect next year, it is what you make it, but set your goals accordingly. That's a bit, even that's got me thinking the last couple of weeks with training, Mark. All my gyms are like there's gyms out there at the moment who have outdoor sections. They're still training. So I'm thinking, well, all my gyms are indoor. So maybe I should be looking to join a gym that can still accommodate training outside if there is a COVID lockdown. Because, Mark, as you know, and you've always sort of like, if you don't do something consistently, like you've got to do it for 30 days, or what's the rule? 30 days creates the habit.
30 days to make it a habit, yeah.
You've said to me before, if you break it for 3 days or something really short, it basically fucks that pattern. So think how easy it will be. You train every day for 35 days. 3 cases of COVID, lockdown, no training for a month. If you don't have that backup plan, your health goal is gone. Then your diet goal is gone. Then your mental health goal is gone. So, and that goes for work as well, with saving. If you've set up a job in hospitality and you have to save $400 a week to hit your 6-month goal to buy a property, but every time there's a COVID shutdown, you get no income. I think everyone's got to
take COVID in your stride as well. I think there's a good message from today. And share your
Yeah.
New Year's resolution.
Shared it. We shared it. Have the COVID backup
Share it.
plan. Hope it helped with everyone.
Yeah, everyone share your New Year's resolution with us, and have a happy and safe New Year. I don't think I have to wish safe for tonight though, but
No.
but certainly for the entire year. Wish everyone well.
It will. Alrighty. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for watching all year.
Yeah, and thanks for doing the show with us, Michael. And yeah, it was. It's been fun and a lot of work. And yeah, there goes 2020.
Yeah, and
Exciting.
343 episodes. Glenn,
Massive.
thank you. Happy New Year's, and we'll be back Saturday. We're not going that long. It's like a big run. Yeah. Anyway, cheers, everyone.
Take care. Thanks, Michael.